Casey, before you walk out, I want to thank you for the opportunity and the space to do this. I'll tell you what means a lot to me about, I could count about 10 people here, is some of the greatest accomplishments that I've ever accomplished in my life have been with a small group of people. And whether there was 400 people in here now or before and there's 4 now, I'll go to war, I'll go to battle, whatever it is. I'll jump cliffs, climb cliffs with a small group of people any day. And that's what I think about our sport of demolition derby. I didn't have this plan to kind of start off like this and talk about this, but I'm just feeding off the audience. And there's a lot of talk around the sport that we're in. There's a lot of people that's proud to be in the sport. There's a lot of people that thinks and wishes that we got more credit than we do get. And I can tell you we damn well deserve it. And apologize for the language on the live TV, but as sure as where I'm standing, we put our dues in and we work harder and we try to work smarter than anybody I've ever worked with in my life right here in this sport. So I've been trying to think about I've thought of a million things to talk about. I could talk about the Unified Point Series for hours. Casey gave me 30 minutes. I'm going to try to take less than that because we're a little behind schedule. But if I'd done one thing last year that I wish I had done better, is when we talk about a Unified Point Series champion, and I've seen everybody here probably at least once look at the rings out there, look at the trophy. What I witnessed last year and what our current champion went through, or anybody that was on his tail, I've personally never went through that in my life, and I don't know that anybody in here has, or the sport has ever seen it. We were challenged. It was something new, and it wasn't something that had a lot of thought behind it, but as an announcer, I have a newfound respect for each and every one of you, for every class that you're in. My passion in this sport has always been around the biggest, rowdiest car that I could possibly try to build or get in. But as an announcer, I've got a newfound appreciation for the youth class or the mini car class. Whatever class means a lot to you. I don't love demolition derby any more than you do, and I had to learn that. That's not something that I had inside me, and I had to learn that through announcing. So the Unified Point Series, what that does, it measures everybody on the same level, and that's something that we've never had to process in this sport. And I've said that over and over and over, and that's not because I know how to process it, that's because I'm trying to process it with everybody else. If there's one question that I've had to answer time and time again throughout last year, and number one, last year was a complete crap show. The sport was a crap show, but we were blessed to get to Derby like we did. And we were blessed with a great year. So, in looking back at that, it was about the chase. And anybody that I've ever talked to or listened to in my life, I get flat fired up if there's a goal or there's a finish line, victory lane, end zone. If you tell me that I've got to get through that door, whether I got to do it by myself or with all these people, it's a mission, and I personally get off on it. And that's the one thing that I did not see in the beginning that we witnessed. And if we rewind back to when I said those people went through things that I've never watched what those guys went through in the sport of demolition derby. We talk about the last man standing, or we talk about mano a mano or head to head. We've always done that against each other. Me and Toast going against each other, or me and Alex, whatever it is, going against each other. But to have to go against Casey Smith, if I'm running a mini car class and he's running the pro car class, I don't just get to beat him. I don't just get to be a bigger man than him that night, you know, head to head, bumper to bumper, whatever it is. I got to beat him in my own game, in my comfort zone. And anybody that's ever challenged me that says, well, Devin's class is easier. It's easier for him to score points than it is for me in my class. That's bull crap. Number one, I have no idea how hard it is to run his class, and you wouldn't catch me in that class. I'll probably get my butt kicked. That's 100% fact. Derbying is derbying. And it took me being an announcer to learn that and have respect for anybody outside the class that I cared about. Because I'll be the first to own, this is a selfish sport. Starting with me, I only cared about what was important to me or what was interesting to me. But last year when we started to measure every derby class at every show I was at, and everybody was going towards the same goal, 1, 2, or 3. That's the only way you scored points. Didn't matter if you had the best paint job. Didn't matter if you passed tech the first time. It's could you get to the bottom. And that's what drives me. That's I flat get off on that ability to get to the bottom. And then that's when you find out who's the best man or woman that night. I say man or woman because there's some women in this sport and they deserve the credit that maybe they don't get. But that's what defines the Unified Point Series. Youth driver, woman driver, man driver, it don't matter. The only thing that matters is that you're able to get it done. And what I watched them drivers do last year, heck, I don't know if I could do it. I like to think I could derby anybody in here, anybody out there, anybody on any track I've ever been on, I believe I could derby them. I've never went through what I watched them go through. When we went to Dunbar, Pennsylvania, probably 70-80% through, John Shipley, our current champion, had led and led and led. And he got on a hot streak. I don't care what class you're running, demolition derby, crap happens. And when he got on that hot streak and pressure and week after week and show after show and his name's in the spotlight, there's a heck of a lot more wrong in this sport that could go wrong than right. Now, it's going to take some luck and everybody gets on a hot streak. You get enough people talking about you, you're going to have somebody coming to get some. And so to watch what he did, we watched Don Santel, the complete opposite end of the sport. Two polar opposites. We watched them win, second, win. Week after week, show after show. They were both having the season of their life. I don't care who you are or what class you run. When you run like that, when you get on that hot streak, you flat out feel, my arm hair is going to bounce through the roof. You feel invincible. Whether that's true or not, that's how you feel. That's how I feel. You feel like it's going to take an act of God to stop me. Somebody better do something about it because I'm going to be there at the bottom and good luck dealing with it. That's how, I guarantee you, that's how they felt on that hot streak. But to watch them up to Dunbar, Pennsylvania, Don Santel, first heat of the night, he wins. Now, he had 10 cars in his heat. Looked like it was going to be a cakewalk. He had to junk his car against Mike Klinger. I mean, one of Pennsylvania's best, but he won. Like watching him do that, I just felt like throwing the paperwork like, I've never witnessed anything like this. So here's John Shipley. That's the first time and only time he lost the lead. He lost it for 2 hours. He's got 40 cars. Now, mind you, he ran what I call it like a consi, but it was a last chance qualifier. These guys could have been running in the championship. They chose the last chance qualifier. They didn't give a crap about the money. They was there for the 10 points. They was there because they're on each other's tail. And when he chose that last chance qualifier, I promise you, as sure as where I'm standing, he thought this is the easiest way for me to get points. He was there with 3 people. There was like 46 cars in that heat. And I don't know if you've seen how they drive many cars in Pennsylvania, but you wouldn't catch me out there. I promise you that. I'm not joking. Heck with that. I promise you, he planned on getting second place at that point. I promise you, I don't care if he would tell you that or admit that. He just watched Don Santel, who had been on his ass, catch him, and he passed him. I guarantee you he thought, is this it? He went out there and he won that 46-car heat. I have no idea how anybody, him or anybody, dealt with that kind of pressure. The whole sport watching. It was live on Derby Nation. At that point, I mean, he had told me from day one, Mark, I want that ring. And when he said that, I believed him. He's the only person that told me that. I showed it to him at the Iron City Nationals in the parking lot at the hotel. I thought he was going to pass out. I knew what it meant to him. It meant everything to him. I don't care if it meant something like that to those 2 people or 2,000 people. To go on that journey with them and to watch them work as hard as they worked. And number one, that's the other thing that people talk about. They talk about, I'd love to do that, I just don't have time for it. I can guarantee you, there's people that think they don't have time for it today that are going to score points this year. Maybe not the first time, but maybe the second time. That's when they really start moving up towards the top 10 or inside it, and it changes. You taste that gold, you find that gold, and now you're a gold digger. I can promise you there's people that could really care less about it right now. And if they don't, that's fine, because there's not an entry fee. This is for my pleasure. I don't make $1 off this, and I don't share that because I want any type of praise or any status by it. Like, I'm going to be there announcing. This makes my job fun. This makes the sport better. And guess what? There's a lot of people behind it, and they're going to get paid well. Last year we had 27.9. This year we already got over 35 coming in. If you look at that flyer out there, it says 35,000 subject to change. Now, if everybody dropped the bucket, if the bus factor hit today, and then maybe that looks different. We're pushing 20 now in the account. And we've already got over 35 that is expected to come in. That's a $7,000 to $8,000 increase, and we're going to pound that right in those drivers' laps for working their ass off. And I'll tell you right now, I'm getting fired up. I'll tell you right now, any man or woman that puts that much dedication into this sport, I don't care. Not only do I not care to make $1, I don't care what it costs me. I'm in. I'm in. If we ever get to witness what we witnessed last year, again, in this sport, it felt like an act of God. If we're ever blessed, if I'm ever blessed enough to witness something like that again, and that's exactly why I didn't change almost a darn thing. Last year was a crap year, but we didn't almost change a darn thing, because if it was that good in a crap year, who knows? Who knows? Are you a demolition derby driver, son? Are you? You've derbied? Power wheels? Are you going to derby one day? Let me tell you right now. I told 16 kids in that room last year at the first annual banquet. I told 16 kids in there just like you. This could be you, because it's for every class. Now, it's about like faith. We all think we have faith till we're in trouble. Or maybe that's when we have more, but that's when we really test ourselves. I don't know if I believed it when I told them that. And this is where I'm telling you this, because I was as sure in there that day telling those 16 kids that they had a chance to be a Unified Point Series champion. I don't know if I believed myself saying that. I meant it. I don't know if I believe myself, and this is why I'm going to tell you why. Rick Furster, who placed 10th place in the Unified Point Series, in the first, let's say 5 shows, he was tied for first. You know what I thought? Oh crap. Can I even give a 16-year-old kid $10,000? Is that even legal? Like, I'm thinking, like, do I need a lawyer here? I called Casey Smith. Casey, did I screw up? You know, because a youth class, Alex Vasco can't come down and junk you, so you're safe. You win every youth derby, and you're the Unified Point Series champion. He can't do anything about it. But at that point that Rick Furster was tied for first, I told these 16 kids it was possible. I thought I meant it. Did I? Because I really didn't expect it to happen, but I'm telling you, I was taken. Oh boy, what's a 16-year-old kid going to do with $10,000? He's going to buy Derby parts. I want to end with this. Last year, our tagline was raise the average. That was the back of our shirts. This year, it's walk the walk. When I watched what we just watched, or if I look out there in the sport, what Track Shot and Track Strong and Toast Promotions and all our friends in Canada, I could just keep going around the room, and I could go out there where all the people's at, smash it, fatties in the house. If I think about what all these people are doing for the sport, they're raising the average. You, me, him, everything we do in Demolition Derby, it either makes it a better sport or it makes it a worse sport. So I just want to leave that with everybody. Last year we raised the average. This year we're going to walk the walk, because there's a whole lot of people that talk about it, and talking ain't crap. Talking ain't just cheap, it's free. It don't cost a dime to talk crap for nothing. So this year we're walking the walk. Anybody have any questions? All right. Peace out.